It gets me amped too. Welcome everybody. What's up everybody? Welcome to Brad&James, the live, fun, interactive conversation about
almost anything.
Almost anything. Hey, great to have you back, man.
Thank you very much.
You weren't here last week.
Yeah. I know.
But you're back tonight.
It's good to be back tonight.
Welcome back.
Good to be back tonight.
Yeah, man.
You busting out the Laurelpalooza shirt.
Yeah,
like the design. How was it this weekend?
They had a really good turnout.
Yeah, well, of course it would.
Really good.
Right now, you could probably have a manure viewing event, and people are going to come out. Now, not that Laurelpalooza is anywhere close to a manure. It is. It was awesome.
That was a good save.
And it really was. No, I didn't mean this. No, they were awesome, and it was. I saw. Goodness, who did I was trying to see. Did I see? Was it Saving Plymouth? Is that Jason Plymouth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason,
they're really
good. That's a bad boy.
I'd heard them before.
Yeah.
Sounded really good.
Yeah.
Paul Johnson, and then this other guy. It's on the back. What's the other name?
Thomas Jackson.
Yeah, Thomas Jackson.
Was it Waiting for Brantley?
Waiting for Brantley. And Waiting for Brantley, a lot of you all out there will know that they were really big back in the early stages of Laurelpalooza.
Uh-huh.
And I think they signed a record deal, and they had several singles and some albums out, and they were like rolling. Okay. So for them to come back this year, the actual original four or five total, but this was the first time in 16 years that they had all been together and played together.
Cool.
So very cool.
Well, no, I just was saying, like, man, right now people are so starved for something. Man, it was really cool. And then when they can have a quality event to go to, all the better. So it was. Really good.
And then they had Christmas open house downtown.
It was Sunday.
Yesterday?
Yeah, it was Sunday.
Right?
Yeah. We got out of church early enough that people could not just, but just didn't want to. With us being a church in downtown, wanting to make sure parking's available. You know, the streets are a parking lot. So,
and parking these days in downtown has become kind of tricky at times.
Well, yeah, there's so much.
Well, a lot of traffic,
a lot of improvements because of that. Yeah,
I didn't mean
no. I mean, because
just,
so much is going on right now. It's a little tricky because so many improvements are getting made. Looks like some new planners are going in near City Hall,
too.
And looking
but
sharp.
Such a good thing too.
It is. It's a great thing.
I mean, you really honestly can't go downtown on the weekends and not, just see tons of people just walking out of towners and, So that's exciting. But yeah, it was a good event. It was a good time and a really good turnout. So
good. Yeah. We got then we saw, like you said, Christmas open house, had several. Obviously, hopefully it was a great weekend great Sunday for the different merchants. We have our new neighbors next door to us, to a T.
To a T.
They opened up.
Is that a golf shop?
No, it's not a golf shop. It's a clothing boutique. But my wife went in. Apparently, they got my wife. She came out with a bag.
Oh, they done got her.
They got her.
They got her already.
My buddy Chris, he said his wife went there, and she went in there as well.
Watch out.
But their look is really sharp too. I mean, you look in they did a great job. Like just the whole
design
brand is sharp. So they did a really good job. So kudos to them. Kudos to all the merchants that made it happen. I hope y'all had a great Sunday, and it's always a great event. It was great. It's just great seeing all the people that are like walking through downtown with bags and because some of us remember when it wasn't that way, and so it's really cool to see.
It is very cool, and I hope it continues for everyone downtown throughout the holiday season. Especially this year. Yeah, I hope for the best for everybody. So it was a good weekend, and it kind of seems like from here on out that. For me, I guess the excitement is like a continuous build to Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think the excitement level and anticipation for people to get out and shop and just that sort of thing will be there in downtown and all that good stuff.
Are you getting out and shopping, or are you online and shopping?
Well, here's the thing. Even if this wasn't a COVID year, I would probably be doing my thing of waiting to the last moment to shop, period.
Yeah.
And then,
it's probably not a good thing.
It's really not. It's not a good thing. Don't do that. Be better than me. But no, I'm not like going out and shopping right now. Yeah. But I mean, even if you're doing it online or if you're, out and about, The time is now. It's November the 9th.
No. First of all, there's no Black Friday. And I was just talking with someone. I said, effectively the new Christmas shopping, the Christmas shopping season used to start kind of like Thanksgiving week.
Right.
And especially I don't know about you, but ever since Amazon Prime days period that's the beginning of the holiday shopping season. Like that's really where it seems like it is. Whether they meant to or not, which they did, but they have begun the holiday shopping season
for sure.
So everybody, no one's waiting to Black Friday anymore. No. Deals are there. In fact, what I do really like about this is it's COVID or not, which is COVID related, but I do like the fact that this year several of those stores, the large stores, are staying closed on Thanksgiving.
Like all day?
All day.
Yeah. Because a lot of stores, they'd close or be closed till about, 6 or 7 and then open later. Right. But that was one of the things I was listening to on the radio last year was, does that really, lessen the emphasis or this, the special day that in which Thanksgiving is? And it's a whole day. Yeah. But are people rushing through it to get to the shopping deals?
It would seem that way. Like kind of it's this kind of like rushing to be a part of it. To get in, you got to get in lines.
Yeah, you gotta go pitch your tent.
I still remember. Was it last year? Bell gave away like $100 gift cards, like something. And I was stunned. First of all, the parking lot was packed.
I know.
And I think, why was I out to even go see it? I'm trying to think. I think I went to.
You were shopping.
No. Well, I definitely not do that. The crowds were outrageous.
I know.
And so, that's, so you saw like the parking lot at Sawmill Mall, just packed. And then we lined outside of Bell. I'm like, who in the world's going to go in there? And then Walmart would be insane. Yeah. People would park on the hill.
Oh, I know.
The hill you can't even park on. It's steep.
I'm gonna drive my 4-wheel drive up there. I'm gonna park wherever I want to. They park on
the hill at Walmart. It'd be packed. And so,
my mom's go-to is Dillard's.
Down in Hattiesburg.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For Thanksgiving.
But she would go Thanksgiving sale.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's her favorite store, and I know the sales and Thanksgiving, and then New Year's too.
There are too many good games on to go and shop on Thanksgiving Day.
James.
Sorry. Can't.
James.
Yes.
My season is over.
For the Falcons?
For the Dawgs.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just get right into it real quick and get this over with.
Let's go ahead.
Let me explain something, ladies and gentlemen. Chomp. Goodness gracious. See, this is what happens when you're all excited months prior to the season with your dual threat quarterback that was transferring from a decent school and he's going to lead you to the promised land. Then goodbye. And then.
You mean Justin Fields? That we were talking about?
Not that one, but even this year.
Justin Fields, you seen him?
You got to stop with that mess, man.
Wow.
Anyways.
That boy doing good.
Man, we're fourth straight.
We're missing some comments.
But
we're missing some comments on there. But yeah. Justin Fields don't. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah, you did. You say it every time.
I did not. I wouldn't say it last week.
You didn't. You're right. But anyways, so best of luck. I officially stopped watching at halftime.
Did you really? No, you didn't.
I promise I did. I was like at this event and I had my phone and I was like, oh yeah, and then I was like, oh no, and then stopped right at halftime. I was like, I know what's about to happen.
Yeah, that was tough. That was a tough watch and
weird, banged up. We got lots of issues. We're just not like I really everybody's
on Bennett. So how you feel about Bennett? Are you not a Bennett fan?
I am upset with the Hobbit right now. I am. Look, people. The Hobbit.
Georgia fans.
He got a strong arm to be
Georgia
a Hobbit.
Fans.
He does, but just not. It's just not the team this year. So that's all I can say.
He's not Justin Fields.
Well, of course not.
Okay.
But
now did you know he was at Georgia?
They're just not the team
in the house
this year.
Right
Florida
there on the
won.
team.
They were the better team. So
wearing uniform and everything.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's so tough. It's so tough. So Florida looks like they've gotten it. They beat Missouri, my team, clearly.
So even if we beat Missouri,
Georgia,
it's not.
When does Georgia play Missouri? This weekend?
Yeah.
Yes, this weekend. So you got it. Yeah, but all roads go through Florida. Which I'm not sure who's all excited about seeing Florida against Alabama.
Well, I'm sure there's, gonna be plenty of people, but we're not one of those.
Alabama fans are gonna be excited, and they look. Jalen Waddle's out, and they just keep going. Just keep going. So
it's good for them.
But SEC, what I'm telling you. It's tough with COVID, but I'm telling you, what I love is like every game in SEC. I mean, outside of maybe Vanderbilt, but other than that, I mean,
tough sledding.
I mean, the games are worth watching. Like even if it's not your team, like they're worth watching.
They are. So I probably won't.
You won't be watching. What does Georgia play? Who's the rest? So they got Missouri, and then who's the rest of the East?
Well, the rest of their schedule is like I think Missouri, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, and I can't remember.
But A&M and State are in the other division.
Yeah, they're in the West.
Those are two games they had. No.
We may only have Mizzou in the East left. I don't know. Yeah, I can't think of who else there is. Oh, South Carolina.
Pac-12 started.
Pac-12 started.
Oregon, the uniform national champions of college football.
Welcome back.
They started. So they're.
Hey, Notre Dame threw a party on their field.
Oh, did you see that?
I mean, I was like, is COVID gone?
I was like,
hallelujah.
Run!
COVID. I didn't realize COVID don't go through South
Bend. Like Brian Kelly, I guess Brian Kelly's probably told his team, he said, if we beat Clemson, he saw they're going to storm the field. He goes, run to the tunnel. And apparently he said he was one of the first ones. It was like they won. Also, you saw people coming up.
Ever running for your life.
Ooh, man, it was something.
Again, because, I was like, on watching anything. And then I saw that and I was like.
I know. It was.
Did they really do that?
They really did that thing.
Man.
So it was.
Wow.
It was something to see.
That was crazy.
I mean, it was. Strangely exciting to see, and then you're kind of like, wait a minute, wait, like
how many masks do I see out there on those children?
Woo,
Mom
they
and
wasn't
Daddy
worried
paying
about
all that money for you to go have a
which
party
you're
on
good.
the field.
You just hope the team was able to get out of there because that's who'll kind of pay the price if something comes up. So
absolutely.
So apparently in the All Clemson conference,
you need a Trevor Lawrence.
Well. I mean, I thought the other, and I can't pronounce his name.
I can't either, but he's good.
Ukulele.
Yeah.
But
Ukulele.
That's probably wrong. That was so wrong.
Okay.
But I thought he was great. I thought he did really good.
I said that last week. He's going to be great.
I think he played really well.
Absolutely.
Lawrence maybe played a little better, maybe a little sharper.
But
they, I didn't see a.
Wasn't like a complete breakdown of leadership and team.
Not at all.
I mean, it was not like a blowout. So he did well.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
It was a great game. Man. And then you saw
rush the field.
So the All Clemson Conference, apparently, like it's 1-2 because they don't have divisions. So it's the first team and second team they play for the championship. Yeah. So it will probably be a rematch of those two teams more than likely. So
that'll be exciting.
With Trevor.
I don't know. I may be watching again by then.
Well, will they play in South Bend again? Because if Notre Dame's the one team. Okay, so let's since we're talking football, let's just put it out there. Who's impressed with Notre Dame being number 2 in the nation? Who really believes that?
Let me check the comments. Yep, nothing.
Really, yeah,
nothing.
We all. How come it feels like if they get in the Final Four, it's kind of a wasted spot?
Definitely is.
I know. I said it. I'm sorry. I said it. Because we have William. I mean, it was like I have seen it. I've seen where this goes. It's in the semifinals. It's 38 to something in single digits every time. I'm oh man, I wanna get excited. They beat Clemson, but I'm like, I mean, seeing them as a number 2.
Get excited
are they the number 2 team in the nation? Who believes that they're the number 2 team in the nation? I just don't know.
Checking. I'm not even getting anything from the peanut gallery.
I just don't see it. I'm sorry. So anyway, but it is what it is right now. They won. Great game. But it'd be like saying, you know, and I love my Missouri Tigers. So they beat LSU. It's like, well, we could have been national champs. Like, well.
I mean, but then again, I got to thinking about it.
They played like champs.
And I was like, wait a minute, Bradley.
Yeah.
This is 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be staring at the next Natty Champs with the way this year's been going on. So
no.
Hey.
No, Brad.
Okay.
Here's why. Because even though it's 2020, let's just go back and look at the champions that have been crowned during the COVID. So you have you have in hockey.
You have the Tampa Bay Lightning,
who were a top-notch quality team.
I'm just saying.
You have in the NBA bubble,
the Los Angeles Lakers.
The Los Angeles Lakers. Again, another quality team.
Okay.
You went to baseball.
Yeah.
And who won that, Brett? Go ahead. Who won that one?
Los Angeles Dodgers.
Los Angeles Dodgers, another quality team who, by the way, in nationally championship. Now, who I'm trying to recall.
They were down 3-1 to the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, wow. I forgot. You know, I forgot about that.
Yeah, me too.
Wow. I mean.
I'm just saying.
But anyway, again, another quality team that won.
You know what?
So what makes you think that all of a sudden?
Well, because this year's been full of surprises in a lot of ways.
It is, but quality will still end up winning out.
Dude, I ain't right I'm
now.
not hoping for it.
Who do you think national championship? Who is it to lose? Whose is it to lose?
Ohio State.
They're better than Alabama.
In some ways. It's tough.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see it. Ohio State, Alabama, I want to see it. I want to see it.
I just think they're two really good teams that I could see winning it all. I don't know anything about anything, but
I just think Alabama is so dominant. My only concern is, and let's be honest, Clemson's schedule is challenging.
Okay.
Ohio State's schedule is, because everyone's thinking they're number one. They thought that their biggest test was going to be Penn State.
Right. I understand that.
And they beat them.
And I agree. I don't think anyone's got a schedule like the SEC.
Nobody. And Alabama is this. I mean.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be fine.
They're going to be beat.
That's the only other.
Yeah, that's the only other.
Team that I see could make it interesting.
So if I had my choice, didn't you?
Or Liberty.
Didn't you and Hagen? Oh, I know.
Told you to watch out for that kid. He is good.
All right, so you all gave your Final Four picks last week. Who was? I didn't see that. I thought you all gave your college.
We tried, and then I think it was just went straight to who wins it all.
Oh yeah. Well, Hagen was here, so you can't help that. It's all Bama.
Yeah.
So Final Four. Since you all didn't get a chance, y'all didn't get the job done last week with that one. So I'm saying,
what a week's difference, man.
I see Alabama.
You got a better view now.
I see Alabama. I see Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I do see Clemson eliminating Notre Dame in the ACC, the All Clemson Conference Championship.
I like it.
Fourth team. That's the key right there.
Bearcats.
Fourth team. Cincinnati's looking impressive.
What about A&M?
I do feel like, though, and I'm going to go out on a limb, it's going to be a Pac-12 team.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
you only
got a couple out there.
You heard it because if they're going to let.
Because they'll only be 2-0.
6 teams. No. I know it's a little tough.
I mean,
we lost. I know.
You lost a couple.
I know. I think they got a shot. They got a shot at an eye test game. I think if somebody SC, that game was exciting against Arizona State. That game was really exciting.
Yeah.
You have the uniform national champions in Oregon, and they're exciting to watch. I think they got a shot.
Well, I'd have to pull up the ranking right now, but somebody's got to falter, and then it's got to like shuffle up, and then they got to shot.
You're the one that said this is the year.
Which,
and look at what we've seen already in the college football season.
I'm not disagreeing. I just hope. I don't know.
What you thinking? Like you rather Georgia get in over a Pac-12 team?
They're not. They're not getting in there.
That second loss was a tough one.
They just lost the toilet bowl.
That's a tough
trip to the toilet bowl. Yeah.
No, I mean, hey.
No, yeah.
And there's gonna be bowl games. Okay, so so that's my 4. Who are your 4? Let's check off the box from last week that didn't.
I mean, up until Alabama, Ohio State, I like those 2. I agree with you. It's hard, even though Clemson lost to a Notre Dame. I still think they're a better team. I think they'll be right there. I don't know about number 4. I don't know who's sitting in that.
You said Cincinnati.
I was kidding.
Okay.
I mean, they are playing well, and they're at a good position, you know, as far as ranking is concerned. But I don't see that being the case come into the year.
Makes sense.
Final 4 selection.
But I still haven't heard the 4th team. Need somebody.
I need to look at see who's like top 5 and 6. Who's number 5 right now? A&M?
Ooh, I don't.
Is it?
Hold on. Let's
Alabama,
see.
State,
Let's check the Google.
No, Notre Dame.
No.
Gosh.
Hold on. I will definitely know if it is, because you can check the ACC media machine that it is, which I love, and that's why the SEC, because they're just bad. They just gonna make sure they pronounce it. Okay. So let's see. Let's see, top teams.
Fact checking.
Alabama is 1. A&M is 5.
Yeah.
Florida 6. Georgia's 12.
Who cares? I care.
Auburn's
I'm
24.
so upset.
Auburn's 24. Georgia's still top 25, within top 25 of the whole country.
Yeah, good. They're not going to Atlanta, so it doesn't matter. I mean, it really don't. Like.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
That was it, guys. That was it. That was literally it.
Well, some people could falter.
And we're just not the team right now. We're just not the team.
A little tough.
We're missing.
Are you happy with Kirby?
We're very, very banged up. I don't know if, and then we're just position-wise, we're just not there. I'm not happy with Kirby right now.
Mm-hmm. What about this? Who's got it left? Alabama that came there was gonna make all the difference. Who's that guy?
He was just a strength and conditioning guy.
Well, they seem to make a big deal out of it.
Scott Cochran or whatever his name is.
So what does he do?
I think it was.
Is he do strength and conditioning now, or is he D coordinator?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Okay. I think he's like a recruit conditioning guy.
Okay.
Whatever.
All right, so that was our final 4.
Better luck next year.
That's our final 4. We kind of got that.
I think so.
All right, we're good. That's the main piece.
Yeah.
Anybody out there want to submit their final 4? we're up to.
We want to see it. Check it out.
Yeah. So make sure you're there. And high school football playoffs start this week. Well, some had started last week.
I was about to say, I thought
District 5 starts this week.
Who they got?
Laurel is playing
Help us out.
East. Oh my goodness! I almost said East Central. I think that's right.
EC?
I got East. I think. I'm not sure. I have to make sure. Right? I have to make sure. That is. I want to make sure I get the name right.
West played Brookhaven last Friday.
Did they?
I thought.
Was that last Friday? Was that? And then South played Natchez.
Well, they're moving on too.
I don't think those were playoff games. I think those were. Yeah, Williams at East Central. West, I think West played Brookhaven.
Was that not a playoff game, William?
I don't think it was a playoff game. That was a district game, because then the district kind of.
Then the lady at McDonald's lied to me.
Yeah, I think the rankings came out. I don't think that was a playoff game, because I think Laurel was first and South actually finished second, I think, in district, and then West was third, and I believe Brookhaven was the 4th team in our District 5A that got in. So, yeah. So it all starts.
Yep.
It all starts.
Good times.
This weekend. Yeah, I'm sure that glad got some
area high school football.
Yeah. It was a final district game. So McDonald's. Lord, she got you.
She did.
So that's gonna be good there. Anything else? Where else we have? So we got that going.
I want to say, man, when I checked my phone yesterday.
Host Hattiesburg, by the way.
Oh. Okay.
Whew.
Hey, It's 2020, baby.
That's right.
That when I looked at my phone yesterday afternoon and I saw that the Dallas Cowboys were beating the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers,
let me tell you,
I was excited.
I was excited to see it.
I didn't watch it.
They said West Coast. No, I watched it. I'll tell you why. Here's the cool thing. So when the what's it called? The Alliance of American Football. Remember when they were going last year, 2019. Okay. So I think they did not finish their season because they got bought by this guy and he pulled the plug. So the Alliance of American Football. So
okay.
The team that I got into was the Orlando Apollos. That was like my team. Spurrier was the coach. Anyway, they ended up winning the championship for that league. Well, the quarterback.
Of course they did.
The quarterback
Steve Spurrier.
Well, so the quarterback was Gilbert, who quarterbacked for Dallas yesterday. So it was actually pretty cool to see him. I thought he did really well. What was really cool, I think Dallas played as good as they could play this year. To have
the lead that late and going up against undefeated Pittsburgh,
and Pittsburgh looks, I mean, Roethlisberger is just the stuff right now.
Before I forgot about Kansas City, that's who I picked in our NFL talks last week.
Oh, okay, y'all did NFL talk too. Yeah. You picked.
I mentioned Pittsburgh,
or you just made.
Well, I said I liked Pittsburgh to win it all, but then I forgot about Patrick was my homie. And I don't know. But the Saints put a smackdown yesterday.
Gilbert was real. Yeah. Did you see that?
Right. I was like,
I mean,
Joshua Pugh, where you at?
Sally Evans, you need to go find something to do.
Oh, goodness.
Don't even start.
Andy Dalton, he probably is worried.
It was true though, man. I mean, it was just, man. Dallas played as best game that they could, and it still was not enough. But Pittsburgh was just I do think there was a play where I thought Dallas had a chance to keep pressure on Pittsburgh, and they kicked a field goal when it was like 4th and inches, and even Tony Romo was like, "You gotta go for it," and they didn't. I think that took that again, and then Pittsburgh's just too good a team. You just can't. You got a shot. You got to keep the pressure on them, and they just couldn't have it. Andy Dalton should be worried. Dallas should be worried because it looked like I thought he'd do way better. But Gilbert was real, so it was really cool to see, and he had good chemistry. And the rookie CeeDee Lamb is looking good. He fumbled that ball really key time. Let him get that field goal kind of end of the half, and so that was a big one. But still. Encouraged by what I saw, but really again discouraged because going, man, we're supposed to be better than this. But it was the best game they played, and but you just don't know.
Somebody was encouraged from their team.
I was barely encouraged. So we'll see.
What's crazy? Sorry to transition.
No, you can transition whatever you want.
That I was thinking. And I talked to someone earlier, and they were like, "What you going to talk about tonight?" And I was like, "You know what? This could be for the first time in the history of Brad&James that we don't have anything to talk about."
We don't have anything to talk about.
That was a joke.
Oh,
man.
yeah. I was like, yeah. Well,
dude, you made that joke turn out terrible.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you. I was like, oh, I didn't know. You gotta let me know when you're joking.
That was.
You're a comedian.
I am.
On your spare time.
So yeah.
So
sure.
You gotta let me know. I don't know. We got tons. We have a ton to talk about.
Well, we always like to catch up on sports because, it's a little reprieve or. It just makes you feel
a distraction from I guess what they call real life for sure.
Some stuff for sure, man.
Yeah.
Well, how are things going in the medical world right now? With the election going on, a lot of people were like, I didn't see nothing, no talks about COVID or this, and I was like, well, you wasn't looking because it's still around.
It's still around. Yeah.
I saw one the other day, man, from I guess Mississippi Online on Instagram, where they do a daily count, and it was pretty high. Of course, this was last week. I don't want to speak about like today.
Listen, but I was like, it's very real.
It hurts me.
We still
have. I see some good numbers, and all of a sudden it's like boom, it's like a punch in the gut, and I'm like,
I mean, they've told us to expect it, and then it's just, but again, we act like nothing's happening, and something's happening.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, you know, again, we've talked about this over and over, but there's times where you don't have to, you know, do some things. But there's a lot of times where it's just like, why aren't you? You know, why aren't you wearing a mask? Even if you just are dead set on this thing being completely fake, that's fine. It's your prerogative, if your thoughts. But there's other people that don't.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do appreciate being outdoors where I can like be 6 feet away and not have to, mask. Then I do appreciate that, like kind of being outdoors.
It's a nice change.
But if you're inside, you know, you have my circle's small as far as kind of like in-person people. Even though we have services on Sunday, I'm not like at the door greeting folks, you know, that kind of thing. Still keeping, you know, kind of interaction circle small, people that I trust, you know, kind of value that same thing. But yeah, man, I don't understand either. Like, we want it to be over. There seems to be a mentality of, you know, almost like, again, like I can't wait for 2020 to be over. Is something happening at midnight on 2020 that I don't know about, that all of a sudden like all this ends? Because we still got stuff to do. Now I'm hopeful. I'm full of hope. I think God gives us hope.
That's key,
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we're going to get some breakthroughs, like with some real. One of the guys I respect as well. He said, I'm not really hoping for a vaccine. I'm really hoping for treatment. And I was like, well, tell me what do you mean by that? And he said, well, vaccine. You know, so he said a vaccine. If your body doesn't respond well to it, then that's it. You don't. He said, but treatments are like things that you can do to help. Like, you can have a treatment. There are treatments for it. And so he's like, you know, it's kind of like not like all or nothing kind of thing. Yeah. So that was
like
his
shoot
point.
Your shot.
You're right. So
that's it.
And I do think there are some treatments that I've heard of, you know, a briefing with Dr. Dawgs about a month ago with the Mississippi School Boards Association, that there have been some breakthrough in treating COVID. Now, it's not eliminating, but it's helping you overcome it. So that's a big set. You know,
that's
they're learning about certain
step,
things that they've had to learn about when they can administer a steroid. Because you administer actually too early, you actually harm the person, as opposed to waiting till it almost like gets to a certain stage in the disease, and so the virus are. So, real things that they've had breakthroughs in treatment. But I'm hopeful that there is a breakthrough, a vaccine. I'm hopeful for our young people. I'm hopeful for, you know, I mean, we've got plans for 2021. There's things that we want to do. Obviously, we want to do that safely. But we
need a continuation of improvements and procedures or treatments or things that, you know, progressively get us in the right position. Yeah, I've never thought it was just going to be like we got something, cure all, you know, type deal. But it's those steps that, you know, things that are happening, and they may not be, you know, it's tough because we want that. We're like instant gratification, or I'm like, hey, I want it all now. Give me something that's going to end it right now.
Yeah. So we were in March of last year, April last year, and you said, if you said, hey, we would still be dealing with this in November. Yeah. And like, not like barely dealing with it, but like dealing with it.
Nobody would.
Well, I just think it would have sucked so much air out of you. Just like, because I think we've lived in hope, and even though like it hasn't happened, like hope at least has kept us alive and kept us encouraged.
Cling to.
But if I knew like, hope. You basically serving a 6-month sentence on this thing.
Would you want to know? Would I want to know that?
Right, exactly.
Like, what's that going to do to my mental state?
Right, because realistically,
you don't want to know that.
We don't know. So it's, you know, but remember. From the beginning, they've used terms like it's probably gonna be 18 months. Like no. It's like, remember? We heard this at the beginning.
We did.
We heard this.
Yeah.
So 18 months puts us at March, maybe. Unless they're talking 18 months like from January, which then puts us in June.
Well, you know,
but if it doesn't,
thought of that too. You know, first real cases. Yeah. If you go back, I guess, and look, it was probably January or before. So we're staring at a year.
That really did look,
right in the face.
Hoping that, if that even is 18 months, that puts us early as kind of June, July, if you're talking kind of March when we really kind of shut things down and really kind of went after it aggressively, then you're talking like September, October, which for us is like just barely under a year from now. Like, I know, it's like, look, well, that's a downer. This is exciting.
There's Debbie Downer there,
but we're dealing, and you're right. And it was a little alarming for me to see things, like to see the game Saturday and see them rush the field. Yeah. There was a part that was like there was a part that was like, well, yeah, it's a big win. Like, wait a minute. Like, what are we, like, we're in this still.
Yeah.
I've caught myself a couple times, and it's about diligence. I've caught myself. I've walked out of my car, headed into the store, and I've checked on my keys, and I'm like, what did I forget? And I'm like, my mask.
Man.
And I've gone back and had to, like, I'm like, I don't like how I'm kind of tripping about it, like a little, like getting like,
a little too
maybe
familiar.
Complacent, something, you know, or like I'm why is it, you know? Right. So, am I tired of it? Sure, I am. I am over it. I'm hoping that once I hope COVID becomes a curse word after this is done. I want to hear it again, but we're still in it, and we're still dealing with real life and death situations for some people. And just because some people are higher risk because because of pre-existing conditions doesn't mean their life isn't worth living.
Yeah.
So, man, it's a lot. It's a lot. So, and here we've had championships and we have an election through a full-on
I was going to say, do you think, with President Trump having his mega rallies and such, a lot of, I guess all the time or most of the time or whatever, I didn't watch him but he wasn't like wearing a mask, and then he was would diagnosed be the right word, or
he tested positive.
Tested positive for COVID, and
it was in the hospital.
He was in the hospital, and he got the treatment he should have, as any president should.
Sure.
Same kind of Nick Saban got, apparently.
Well,
maybe
Nick
Saban was a little bit.
Nick was a false positive, right?
That was another bad joke.
Okay, sorry. You got to let me know. Like, you got to tap the thing like this. Joke
I just throwing him out there, and you're just like, what?
Yeah.
But like, in regards to the election, do you think the way he held his mega rallies with real no concern, and it wasn't like a major emphasis on the safety of him wearing a mask and a lot of his, people.
Sure.
Is that possibly a negative thing? Because there's so many people that are like, I don't want to. I'm not wearing a mask. I think it was great. What was
you're asking questions. I didn't know.
It was like, does that affect his outcome in this election?
Oh, okay. Do you think it cost him?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, could it?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I guess I feel like I think Dr. Dawgs, he said something really interesting. I hate how not people, want to sell paper, they need to get clicks. So I hate it where the clicks said like Dobbs blames non-mask wearing whites for COVID spread in Mississippi, and that is not what he said at all. When you go to the interview, what he said was he said the message of wearing masks seems to have really connected with African Americans, who, of course, we saw early on were dying at a higher rate so they took it on, and I cannot speak for all African American people, but me being one, I'm allergic to death. I really am not looking to go anytime sooner than I have to.
Click that.
So we wore a mask, and they, that community really has embraced that part as far as wearing the mask. And he's like, hey, the message seems to have resonated with this group, and we've seen the reduction of deaths in African Americans, and we've not seen that same thing in our white brothers and sisters. And so we've seen it. I mean, you and I have been talking about this thing from beginning, like, hey. And it's clear, like we're seeing, I'm not saying that it almost seemed like it became a political statement, and it's not. It wasn't about whether you were a Democrat or Republican because you wore a mask. It was like, I'd like to live and I'd like to protect you.
I agree with that. Like, for me, it's just more of a human race thing. And not even it's not even like this is just in the United States. This is a global thing. Why, and I care for people all around the world.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a human race thing to me. Like, it's the whole thing about me trying to do what I do, whether you like it or not. Like somebody today, because somebody saw me Saturday, and this was an outdoor event, but I had a mask because at times I had to kind of shuffle through some people, and I don't know who's gonna be there. And they was like, man, you seen old Brad with his mask, and somebody was like, what? And I was like, I don't know these people. And he's like, he ain't gonna get corona. And I was like, that's probably what the last person who just got tested positive said.
Right.
But it's not even a matter of whether you're black, white, or it's a human race thing.
Well, I think when people look at you and they go, look at this guy, he's in good shape. What? He's healthy. Realistically, even if he got it, what's really going to happen?
Right.
No problem. Okay.
So
but
common.
To me, I get it. More than likely by the fact you are not going to have symptoms or be affected. But there are young people who I know who are right here in Jones County who, again, have gotten it that, this young man I know right now that cannot smell, cannot taste.
I know.
I don't know. That's just kind of a big deal for me. So I'm not dying. I think. I mean, I don't know, but not being able to smell, not being able to taste, and not know when that will return.
Yeah.
That's kind of a deal. Is that a deal?
It is.
I mean, for me, it's a deal.
I don't want you to get sick.
Yeah.
And
I don't want you to get sick, but how about you not wanting yourself to get sick?
Exactly. It's not even so much just worried about myself.
Yeah.
Even if this wasn't like a virus topic, I would still be concerned with others before myself. And I know that I could potentially be a host and then spread this to my mom or dad.
Yeah. And that's what we started thinking about. I think my dad too. My dad's in his 70s. My kids need to see him. Part of the reason we decided to do virtual is because, my dad's family as far as here is me and my family. We are the family he has. He needs to see his grandkids. His grandkids need to see him. And he, we just could, it wasn't worth the risk. Like, hey, we're going to stay safe for ourselves. But we're also, we know, hey, Pawpaw is vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're not willing to take that risk. Yeah, so my dad needs his family. He needs to be able to see his grandkids. My grandmother passed in 2016. I just can't imagine what it would have been like to know she was in a nursing facility and I could not go and see her.
Same.
For my friends out there, my people that have had to deal with that out there, what a stinking nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been able to take it. I think it would have haunted me, and especially if she passed.
Yeah,
it would have haunted me to this day, feeling like, because those are hard decisions. Like, even to care for your loved one at a level where you realize you can't care for them at the level of care they really need.
Yeah, no,
you have to make that decision to trust an organization to care for them where you can't, where you literally can't. They need attention 24/7. You can't because you have to work for a living. Like, you literally can't do it. It's a hard decision for you. It's one that's riddled with guilt. Even though you know it's the best decision, you also know no one can care for your loved one like you can. Yeah. And so you're riddled with guilt. You still have a level of guilt. You want them to be well, and then this thing happens, and you can't get to them. You can't see them.
I know. I think of my
talk to them. You can't bring the kids by, and then they get sick inside of where it's supposed to be safe. Horrible.
Very.
I just don't think I could. It just would have grieved my soul, and I have compassion for those out there that have to deal with that. Man, I have a ton of compassion for you.
Yeah.
Another good friend, his mother went in. He had a pastor friend of mine, he had no expectation that his mother would not come out, and his mother died. And it has been a difficult time for him. I mean, just completely caught off guard. And he is hurting. His family's hurting. His dad. It is devastating what it's done, and he's getting better. It's so encouraging to see, and he's been really transparent about walking through his grief with his church, with very open about it, which has been, I'm sure it's definitely healthy for him, but it's healthy for people to see.
Yeah.
But man, it hurts to see too.
Oh, I know.
So that part has been real. So when we talk about did it cost him in the president in the election, I don't know if it cost him, because I feel like people that agree there. I'm not sure if someone's like, well, he won't even wear a mask, I'm not gonna vote for him.
Because statistically his, count grew from 2016.
It did. It went from 90 to 93%.
Very large amount. So he even during this, through all this.
Right. It apparently not hurt him in that respect. Was it a factor in the people that did not vote for him? It probably was, but it wasn't like I don't know that it was a factor to be like, well, I'm not gonna vote for him because he wouldn't even wear a mask.
Yeah.
I think there are many other things that they were maybe dissatisfied with, or maybe even that they didn't align with, that made that decision. I'm sure not wearing masks didn't. It wasn't the messaging, sure, and it's hard for me. I guess it'd be hard for me if I'd lost someone and to this disease, this virus, and the leader of our country is not like, and we know we're in it, and not to see that's a hard one, I think, for people to have seen. Some people were just like, well, and the people wasn't a big deal for it, just wasn't a big deal. And
yeah, I think so too. I don't think that he or any president or, is probably in the same predicaments or situations that you and I are, as far as like just the general public.
Sure.
So,
but I think in that respect, I think where people were.
But at times, I think it probably would have been a better play.
I think people wanted to see it modeled by our leader.
And I think there's a point. Like you probably could have just, because again, it's all on you as far as cameras and stuff like that. So when you're right, when you could have been like a model for certain times when you're just in that situation around others, probably. Would have benefited you. And then if you get up on stage, probably you're more than likely going to be either you or some others, a few, but not like you're out there, bum rushing the field. But if you are, again, better decision. But
do you think it looked? You think it looked like in the eyes of people? Do you think wearing a mask looked weak, or is still seen as a sign of weakness?
I don't personally see it as a sign of weakness, because I would be calling myself that. Because I try to, if I know I'm going to be in that situation that's questionable, I just do it. I don't know.
I'd say, like, personally, I feel like you are super diligent with wearing a mask. I mean, I think that is it just kind of like checks me, even like, oh yeah, hey, just making sure to not get, because we're not living in fear, and I don't take it as you're living in fear. I know you're a man of faith. I don't take it as you're living in fear. I think wisdom is proper application of the knowledge we already have, and I think you properly apply the knowledge you already have. And plus, we both weigh out, I don't want to get my parents sick. I'm not trying to get people I love sick. Right. I don't want to get anybody sick.
Yeah.
And so, so I think you've been, and I do. Yeah. I think it's really super diligent, and I think it's really, it checks all of us. It checks me, where I'm like, oh yeah, remember, like, don't don't ease up on this thing.
Yeah, that's the thing, is can't let up or whatever. And I think that'll, that's just me. I'm just doing what I can for myself and those, like you said, those that you love. So,
and I feel like there's some. I guess what I'm looking at, I think what's happening is there's some people have determined their kind of acceptable level of risk, I guess. Maybe is that fair to say?
I think that when the numbers were in a little bit of a decline, a couple of months back or whatever, and I think some people were just like, let it go to like, oh, that's it.
Right.
Not everybody, not at all, but because I thought this is just like mentally, I'm like, oh, like a sigh of, hey, some of the masks can come off, in more than but I don't know, maybe, but that's what happens. You just, as far as the virus is concerned, you just never know. It's just it plays no favoritisms, and it is still.
You still have to be diligent. We have to still be diligent. So I guess when we're talking about that, no, I don't think it. I don't believe, that's my opinion. I don't believe it cost the president the election. I think that's probably one of the real topics. Maybe we didn't talk about was just even. People were believing that the election still is not over, has been decided.
I was going to say
the media does not get to decide that. There's been a lot of that sentiment expressed. So
so a week tomorrow will be a week from Election Day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you, man. I voted, and then I think I looked at my phone probably less than I ever have or in a long, long time that day and the following day. Because for one, I knew it wasn't going to be overnight in the morning call. I just knew.
Well, you and I talked about it. We talked about this leading up. I said, I thought
we talked about it last week too.
I thought
we
it was
were
like a week before we'd ever know. But yeah.
And still, but I didn't, man. I was like, I'm just, not going to be bombarded with stuff. And then here we are a week later almost, and it's unavoidable.
It's unavoidable. It is.
Now, can I ask you a question? And if this is like, that's not for now.
Sure.
So, we have two services. Yesterday's first service, you kind of went a different direction. I think. Very great, by the way.
Well, appreciate that.
Was not. We stream our second service, so the first service was a bit different. I just wanted to ask you, like, if you can, or if you would, or if you could, like, where was that coming from? I mean, it was from the heart, and I just felt like, where's my friend? What's going on? Like,
it was a lot. It's been a lot to, and I don't want to feel like I'm going through anything else than anybody else, anymore, anymore, or necessarily any less. I've just gotten comfortable with the unique position that I'm in, that I'm an African American pastor in Jones County, Mississippi, with a congregation that is 60% white, and that makes some challenges of pastoring and loving people unique that I face that maybe other people don't. And that's and not saying better, worse. Not trying to be, not least just going.
It's different.
But like if you're a public speaker, your first number one rule is know your audience. As a pastor, and as a pastor that understands a gifting that God's given me, I got to know the people I have to pastor. And so, it was. And
you do, by the way. I want you to know that. Well, I mean, ever since day one, I guess that would have been CrossFit for you and I. But you have always made me. You have made an effort, even in the early days. Even when you thought I was a tool.
No, I did not say that. I never.
You always made me feel welcome.
So
that you do know you.
Well, I appreciate that, and for me, it's hard because I was really speaking from the place of like, well, as a church, like one of our foundational things we do when we want people to serve is to look at, is to really find their spiritual gift and serve in that area where God has gifted you in. Like we don't do that to put that on you. We don't ask people to serve at Agape in areas where they're not gifted. We ask you to go through, we walk you through spiritual gifts assessment and look at where your spiritual gifting is and serve in an area where God has gifted you, so that really, hopefully, you never end up hating it and come to church like, oh my Lord, no gifting to be with kids, but you serve there because someone asked you to, and you're like, I hate kids, and so you hate coming to church. Now that whole deal.
That's a good way to keep you from coming. Period.
Yeah. So I know my gifting is being a bridge builder, and it has been a bridge across ethnicities, across race. That is in my DNA. That's something that literally excites me. It is something that I feel like I'm gifted to do. And so because that's my passion place, because that's a place where my heartbeat is, and God gave me that heartbeat for it, to have watched how the church, capital C church, people have acted and responded and talked to each other through this election process. it grieves me like it grieves people that are concerned about the life of the unborn, or the life after someone is born, or they're passionate about morality regarding same-sex marriage, or their reality about a conservative Supreme Court, like all these things that are passion points for them in that area. This is a passion point for me, is how we act. A church that here we look in Scripture says we're fearfully and wonderfully made. All of us, fearfully and wonderfully. There's no accident that, you didn't come up and it was the Brad model and the vat for, your culture was open and you dropped in it. And then here the game came from James, and the vat for, good looking, amazing black men was open. I dropped in it. It was, hey, God made us with detail.
Yeah.
Every detail, hair, eyes, whatever. We were made. I am a work of art from the master craftsman.
That's right.
And I need to respect myself and respect you in that same way. Honor you, I should say. I believe respect is earned, honor is to be given. And so with that, we just haven't honored each other. We've got mean, and
there has
just been like we've emboldened hatred. We've emboldened just not honor. Honor is a biblical principle. We've emboldened not honor. And here's the part that really disturbed me is I don't mind anybody voting for whoever they want.
Yeah.
In fact, we should vote. I think it is your biblical obligation to vote.
Yeah.
The only analogy I can put in is I believe the church, capital C church, should participate in the political process. I think on every area they should participate, from voting to when it is a calling and a gifting, maybe a passion, to running, to serving even there. But my problem is, and I only put it in an analogy, the only way I can put it is, a boat is made to sail in the water. A boat is not made for the water to get inside the boat. That's dangerous.
That's a problem.
That's a big problem. And yet, that's exactly what I feel like has happened with the church, is that we are to participate fully, sail in, be involved in the political process. It is a problem when that process gets into the church. And now we don't talk to each other over what? Well, over who we voted for, over we can't have differing even ideals. We weigh them out on Scripture. People have even seen Scripture as different. Now, there are some things that are foundational that we can't budge on. And even though we can't budge on, we still can't honor each other. We still can't, we can't get along. I can't care for you, pray for you, genuinely pray for your family.
Sure.
This is where we're at.
Yeah.
And so I use my prophetic voice, which I believe we all have, to speak over your life. And instead of speaking blessing, I spend more time as a believer speaking curses over your life than praying for you. Something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
So this is the part where, for me, it's just a frustrating part of having to hold your tongue as a pastor, because Lord knows if you say one thing, it's that, so if you didn't say something about this, oh Lord, well, they're waiting. There's a part that I hate being pegged. I hate when someone thinks they know me and you won't even have the conversation. I hate it. And I hate when you won't have a conversation from an educated point of view. At least do some reading. At least get some understanding about what you think I'm thinking, or at least what you think that I'm, because you may not know. You may be surprised.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But at least the Bible says, in all you're getting, get understanding. I don't think we take time to understand. We don't want to understand because we don't want to be changed.
Oh, no.
I don't want to get understanding because I don't even care. Okay, cool. No problem. But I don't understand everything.
Mm-hmm.
And not understanding should not make me afraid of it. I want to understand, because I still have a role that we're still called to be change agents of grace and mercy and the light of who God is, to show an accurate depiction of Christ in every situation in the world until Jesus comes.
Yeah.
But yet,
sometimes
go ahead.
I was just going to say, sometimes that statement of, or call it, you could say WWJD, or just the mindset of, being like Jesus.
Yeah.
It's such a simple statement, but dang, not a one of us who's ready to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
being like Jesus
really,
is hard.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. And yet when somebody does it in a radical way, we vilify them.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they have the courage to live at a level we don't.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think
that's true too.
I mean, you look at Jesus and remember their biggest insult. Jesus is a friend to sinners.
Yeah.
Like that man's around. Look at who he hangs around. Lord knows if we were that way, we would be, oh man, look who they're around. Oh,
yeah.
Look how they do church. Oh Lord, look at them, nightclub church, whatever. We love we don't ever how come we don't ever cheer each other on? Like how come you doing it differently than me? We get it.
We shoot our wounded.
Go get it.
Yeah, it's
great on you. Go do it. But no. We got to analyze. We got look. We got to find fault. We got to I ain't preaching right. They ain't doing this right. They they ain't dressed right. They ain't wearing this right. How come they don't have Sunday school? How come they do? How come they their services go out 3 hours and theirs only goes 10 minutes? Like what? It's just always they don't preach about sin enough in their church. They preach about sin too much. It's always a mess, and so we don't cheer each other on. Like you just do it differently than me.
It's like a master of confusion.
Like the enemy would love to do that.
How about we just does love to do that?
And so it's like, how about we just celebrate each other? Agape is not First United Methodist, but you know what? First United Methodist is a great church. Absolutely. They have great leadership. Thank God for them. Yes. I pray they thrive, and so our worship styles are different. But can they feel the presence of God like we do in our services as well? Yes. Sure they can. Can you do it doing hymns or whether your words are on a wall? Great. Yeah. When you have people that are hungry for Jesus and hungry for God, you absolutely can. Yeah. We're not enemies. I look and we said we tear each other. We need to not do it. Yeah. And so what's frustrated me when it gets down to it, I expect people who are far from God to act like people who are far from God. What I do not expect is for the church, the Catholic Church that know Jesus, to act like and treat each other the way that our character does not accurately reflect Christ. Yeah. And that's really if they talk about the message, it started with the statement by Larry Stockstill, who is probably one of the wisest pastors I know. I've not gotten a chance to meet him. I hope one day that I will, and I maybe hope one day I can bring him to Agape to speak to us. Pastor Larry, it was a quote that got posted from his Pastor's Academy, and that quote is what really had been dealing with me for weeks. And I still am there, and I'm still not done. And it probably may be where I start, maybe where we are. We'll start beginning of the year, but I want to make sure I get it right. I've committed it to memory, but you commit something to memory, and you end up kind of paraphrasing it. And I want to make sure I get it right. But Pastor Larry Stockstill,
and mandate.
He said, "Do you have a conviction or do you have a mandate? A conviction is something you'll die to defend. A mandate is something you'll die to accomplish." Yeah. And I don't think we put the weight on the mandate or mandates that God has put on us as a capital C church, or that he has put on us as individuals. There is something in every one of our lives. There is a mandate on every one of our lives that we are going to have to die to accomplish. Yeah. Every one of us. And if you're afraid of whatever that cost of dying is, then you'll never acknowledge what that mandate is, because you don't want to ever pay that kind of price. Sure. And whether it's fear or whatever, we have to get past fear so that we can pay the price. And so when you think about a mandate, well, mandate is something that I had to die to accomplish. Then all of a sudden, that language that Jesus uses about, remember to count the cost to follow me. Mm-hmm. Remember he talks about taking up your own cross. All that language all of a sudden has
another strong point yesterday was never seen or recalled someone took up their own cross who wasn't nailed on it.
They weren't nailed on it. Yeah. That was crazy. Never seen anybody pick up a cross they weren't going to be nailed on. Well, I guess that wouldn't be true. Peter, that helped Jesus that helped Jesus along the way. I guess he was not nailed on that cross.
But in the statement,
Simon, I want to make sure I get that right, because Lord knows I can't say something wrong. I can't make an error in a name because I'm some kind of heretic, because you can't even.
Don't do
Father,
it.
Help me. Help me.
But it's just
so
in
I don't have to act up over that.
Dying to self.
Yeah.
And
no. And it's a lot. There's just a lot that has been. And again, and I appreciate your concern. I'm as far as like that part, I just grieve by it, and we should be. I think we ask, and not like from a self-righteous point. Really just kind of go, Lord, how do you feel about it? I think God's grieved with how we're doing some things. I think God is grieved with how he sees his own children act. Like there's things like I can punish my kids, but my kids are getting to a certain age. Yeah. My son is going to be 18. My daughter is going to be 16. My other son's going to be 15. Little loud one is going to be 7. But one day they're all going to be adults, right? So when they're adults, like I can't spank them when they fight. I can't spank them when they're not doing well. And when I watch how they will treat each other, if they don't treat each other with honor, like it's going to grieve my heart. Like I can't punish them. I guess I could write them out of my will and make sure after all they get nothing, but that's not my heart either. My heart is to bless my children, but it grieves me when how I see them interact with each other.
Yeah.
Like it's not honoring to me as their mom and dad, to us as their parents. We didn't teach them that.
Yeah.
And so we're human. We're not even God.
Yeah.
How much more does it for our Heavenly Father to go, man, I'm grieved by how are y'all treating each other like this? Mm-hmm. And it gets down to, we don't really see each other as family. And agape, I don't pastor any other church. Mm-hmm. This is the one I pastor. And we named it agape because there were other ministers that I knew, that I admired. There are other names I considered. But I named it agape because I knew Mike Sparrow, who was my pastor. And I knew the journeys we had to make as a multicultural staff. I knew how he allowed me to speak into his life as a black man and in San Luis Obispo, California. I knew how I allowed him the things he taught me as my white pastor in my life, and how we modeled that. And I hope we modeled what it looked like, that not only could we get along, but we could genuinely love each other and care for each other. And he always cared for me and gave me opportunities and didn't just acknowledge the fact that I could sing on a Sunday, but allowed me to be the number 2 in charge of the church and be the vice president of the board, that if anything happened to him, I was going to be the pastor. Like, gave me opportunity, gave me like real position of influence, didn't just like acknowledge my gifting in one area, but acknowledge that I was gifted in another. And we worked together in that, and still to this day doing conferences and presentations on what that looks like, together. So I named the church after somebody I knew, after a ministry that I knew what agape was, but also the standard of agape is high, the unconditional love of God. And so I needed our church to understand that our doors are never going to be closed, that we're going to have some lost people that come in, and they may not look like us. Their lifestyle may offend us. Their sin that they're in that we can see may offend us. But we are going to be that church where our door is open, and that we leave the cleaning up to Jesus. We preach the truth.
Yeah.
We tell you can come in and that you're welcome. We treat them with honor. We love them, but we trust God to do the cleaning. We don't try and clean, because humans stink at cleaning up other humans.
Oh, don't we?
So, we make a lot of mistakes. Let him do what he's supposed to do by the leading your own spirit. We make sure we're preaching truth, and that we're loving people the way that he expects, that we're doing it the way God expects, and we move forward. And people don't change overnight.
Yeah.
So, it just happens. So, that some of them, we wish they wasn't getting busy on the weekend, but they probably 6 more weekends they're going to get busy before they decide to get less busy.
Sure.
Less
busy is a step.
So yeah, you got to look at real progress. Real progress is, hey, I used to take pills and drink on the weekends and get messed up. Now, hey, I'll take pills no more.
It's a step.
How about we just so instead of oh, you still drink, look, hey, that's progress. Mm-hmm. They're not doing it. Hey, last year they slept with 16 people all year. This year they're down a bit. Thank God they're, hey, and it's the conviction of the Lord in their life. We don't acknowledge wins. We don't know how to celebrate. It's just sad, dude. And so those things are just we're so afraid of grace. We just in too much grace. Well, hey, grace is still amazing. And as long as I'm still extended, and it's been extended to me, right. So, those things. So my level of frustration was is this going? I felt like maybe I hadn't led like I was supposed to, or at least felt like I just needed to be really cautious. I didn't want, because I know what it takes to navigate this. And the Bible talks about being slow to speak and quick to hear. Mm-hmm. And so everything that you hear as a pastor, you have to be really conscious of that. You have a platform. You can't just get up there and pop in your chops every time you're ticked off about something. Yeah. So you just keep on and just, you spew on your congregation, you spew on your people because you're mad or you got to take time to go. You got to work through that thing too yourself.
I mean, you do. I prayed that today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's easy for me to find myself or looking at this idea or opinion, specifically talking about the election right now with everything going on, and do I have my opinions? Absolutely.
Sure, we do. We all do.
You have yours. Yeah. And that's my thing is I'm going to have them.
Yeah.
I'm going to. And there are ideas that I'm not going to probably sway on.
Yeah.
And it makes the other person no less than myself. You know what I'm saying? And I should be not, and we've been in this situation before where I may have come in, in a certain situation too quick to speak and not quick enough to listen. And there's still plenty for me to learn. I don't know. I mean, it's just all I can do is still, like you said, give you and anybody else honor that they deserve.
It's plenty for me to learn. And I'll tell you what I don't like is, just masked. I don't like kind of like the masked comments. Like when can we have a real conversation?
Yeah.
So I get it. Like, who doesn't get a masked comment right now that, no matter what, God's still in control?
Well, absolutely. Well, hey, I'm thankful for that.
Which I'm glad. Which I'm like, well, yeah. But that same God that was in control now, when it seems like things aren't going the way you thought on an election, is the same God that was in control 4 years ago when maybe you were happy about that election.
That's right.
So where was the God's in control comments then? When it was like, no, and that's all I'm like, hey, let's just have the conversation. Look, and not even that. It's not even about the conversation. Well, it is. But it's going, look, let's be honest. It's okay to say, man, I am disappointed with this darn election.
You telling me,
I did not want.
People, what they really want to say is, am I to believe that Arizona's still using pencils and that's what
It's all of it is.
That's true too. That's okay.
We never
right there.
But get to go hey. This stuff, I'm so mad. I'm angry, and maybe in some way I'm afraid because of who the leader is. What does that mean for us? And you got to embrace it. You got to walk in. Okay, all right, okay. And then there's others that are not, that are hey, and we have to. I don't think we understand even why we vote certain ways anymore. Because we don't understand each other.
So what's crazy is it didn't even used to be
because we don't understand. Right. So we just assume everybody that didn't vote Republican, they just want to kill babies. Well, that's not true. That's not true at all, actually. it is, you know, we don't even understand why we vote the way we vote, even culturally. And then we have cultural conversation. First thing people want to do is discount. Well, it ain't in the Bible. Culture's not in the Bible. Racism is not in the Bible. There's several words that we deal with today that are not in the Bible that we have to talk about. So all this kind of like, just like, hey, when are we going to have like real conversations? And Agape, because it's the church that I pastor and because it has the makeup it does, we have to talk if we are going to be the shining light that we want to be in this community that reflects Jesus. We have to have tough conversations because we're not going to just go to church together and not care about each other. And I can't afford to get upset with you over anybody. You know, we may disagree on ideals, but Brad, anything happens to your dad, it hurts me like it's going to hurt you.
Same.
Anything happens to you, I want you and Ashley to have a great marriage. Like I hope you want Nisa not to have a great marriage.
Same.
Like no matter who you voted for, I may not understand it, and I may think, oh my Lord, what?
Well, sure.
Whatever. But when it gets down to it, like really, like the way I see it, like if we can just all take one step back, like one step back, one step. So niece, I love my wife, love everything about her, respect her as a leader. She's competitive as I'll get out. She's an amazing athlete. I mean, it's just amazing, right? But clearly, my wife doesn't know much about football because she supports the San Francisco 49ers. Okay, but that's her thing. That's her thing. Clearly, as a man of God who loves the Lord and has him in my heart, I support his Cowboys, who he supports and loves. All right. So you take that. Like, are we competitive? Sure. Like, comes to Super Bowl, if 49ers make it, I'm not rooting for them. I didn't root for them last year when they get the Chiefs. I was like, I do not want to hear from her or even my brother-in-law,
right?
You know, who I love too. But my brother-in-law spikes the ball. Like my brother-in-law Robert, he is merciless.
You can't say
I love
enough.
No, you can't. You're not going to shut Robert up because Robert will. I love him, but he ain't gonna take it. He ain't gonna take it.
I'm familiar with how that works.
I love my brother, and he is. But I didn't want to hear it. Yeah, okay.
Sure.
All right. So here's what's crazy. So we don't have the same teams. We don't cheer for the same. Baseball, we don't cheer the same team. She's a Giants fan. I'm a Cardinals fan.
Right.
You know, we're both Lakers fans. We do agree. But I mean, here are those two things. All right. So, you know, people get intense like over games, right?
Oh.
Right. So Cowboys play 49ers, whatever happens there. So what's crazy is like, should that determine how we get along that night?
No.
Why? Because what she and I have is about covenant. Right? So we don't let anything outside that covenant or anything outside that come in affect that covenant.
That's right.
All right, as brothers and sisters in Christ, what are we bound by? Covenant.
The covenant.
The blood of Jesus. Covenant.
The covenant.
The covenant. But we gonna let, whether we like mules or elephants, birds or crows, whatever, we gonna let those kind of things come in and affect. No problem to have different ideas, but when they affect covenant relationship, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That is a problem.
Yeah.
Huge problem. How in the world? Because covenant has to exist between three people, you, me, and the Lord. How are we letting something outside of that sacred relationship affect it? Something is wrong. And so for me, it was going, maybe the dying part is a dying to this whole, like this mentality, this like separatism, this like two lives. So like we can be in church together, but we're saying nasty stuff about each other. Like we gonna get like we're good until we find out like something that I didn't like about you. We don't even know how to work past that.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. So now, you know, everybody like, we, you know, here you and I on Facebook Live, and there's folks out there. I'm leaving that, going to parlay or whatever it's called. You know, I'm out. You know, I'm out. You know,
right.
like, whatever it is. What is it?
Dude, I just found out about this today. So that's what's crazy. Is like
I'm out. I'm out of Facebook.
I had someone ask me, and I was like,
leave all your pictures and memories there too, because they're all there. So go ahead, check out.
No,
go ahead
and
deactivate your account. Yeah. Bye. Like Facebook. No, y'all come back. They know they got a good. They ain't worried about it.
They're
one bit. But here's the thing. Like, so we're gonna go where like people are like-minded. Or like, wait a minute. Hey, iron sharpens iron. We need some folks that don't see it like we do.
Sure.
We need some folks that like don't, I don't want everybody in my life that's the same.
Yeah.
Like we need diversity. I value that. Yeah. And maybe that's not something, and I need to understand that may not be something everybody values. Sometimes people just, they need or they want to be around like-minded
and
folks.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Listen, because honestly, dude, we have a good time here, but sometimes we talk about, this is one of those times, but this right here is not something that happens often.
No, it doesn't.
You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't.
And man, has it, helped me in various ways. And not that you and I are alike all the time. We are in some ways.
No, in some ways we are.
But we're not going to be.
No, it is going to be different.
Yeah.
But it comes like even, practically, like we start talking about, like even we kind of on our first podcast, we were talking about George Floyd and Black Lives Matter and those things. And, how that first round of that went. And so, as much as you got comments, I got them too. Like, why in the world are you dealing with that? Yeah. Why are you even talking with him? He doesn't clearly he doesn't understand. You should have went in. Yada, yada, yada.
Right.
Well, here's the thing, everybody. Here's what happens. What relationship looks like is this. One, we're live. We are recording this live. Two,
we are.
With that, like, you weigh out and you go, wait a minute, my friendship with him is bigger than this issue. I'm still going to be able to speak the truth in love. I have venues to do that, but also I'm not going to like take you down, so to speak, just because somebody else thinks that I should. And I'm going to speak truth. We're going to talk truth.
Yeah.
If that part is offensive to you or whoever, then we're just going to have to work that part out. But I don't have a taste for blood for my brother.
And it's so easy for us to go straight to that.
Yeah.
Like, we're ruthless.
Yeah, we will be. And
these guys?
Yeah. And in my own, I think, sure, we're thinking it, but again, I have a choice.
Yeah.
And we choose. So you choose in those moments, you choose honor.
Yeah.
You've got to choose honor in those moments. You cannot sit there and not choose honor, because like once it comes out of your mouth, you can't take it back.
Nope.
And even though, let's say I take a razor blade and I'm like, I'm just mad as that, and so I go and I cut your arm, and we make up, hey man, shouldn't have cut your arm.
Yeah, that's
you're right.
Okay.
You shouldn't. No, we're good. All right, we're good.
Yeah.
And you heal from that, which you didn't die. You heal.
Yeah.
But what do you have on your arm?
I've got a scar.
Got a scar. And what does that scar remind you of?
The pain and everything that came with that event.
Exactly. And that's human nature for sure. The God equation in that is that scar, when you have God's perspective in your life, and you have a wholeness and healing that comes from him, that scar then reminds you that I'm healed.
That's right.
I'm set free.
That's right.
Something that was intended to harm me has not been successful.
Yeah.
It has scarred me, but it didn't harm. It has not ruined me.
And
the core of who I am.
You're stronger.
Yeah.
And you are better.
And you're better. And so but you never get to put that in the win column if you never have. That's the God perspective and the miracle of what having a relationship with the Lord does. That scars are definitely reminders of an injury, but because of who Jesus is, they're reminders that also I overcame it. I'm healed. And so real stuff. But again, there's that injury that goes, but could in my own heart, like, I don't want to be reminded every time I see you, who I care about, I did that.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
I said that because once it comes out of your mouth,
man,
you can't take it back. So real stuff. So for me, I just wanted to like lay it out there because, you have to know in some respects as a pastor, maybe because I feel like sometimes I always know what everybody else thinks. I spend a lot of time making sure I understand what everybody else thinks. And then that sometimes I lose what I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with that, then I'm not being genuine because I don't have perfect opinions. I'd rather not make mistakes when it comes to leading people, especially when you do it in front of people. Making mistakes in front of people is very, very difficult to swallow.
Sure.
It's difficult to swallow for me. It's probably for any leader, but you make them and you got to own them and you got to move forward, and it's hard sometimes, but with that, I just wanted everybody to understand, like maybe it was a vision Sunday for us to go, hey, we're going to do this, but here's what it's going to cost us. This is worth dying for to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is to accomplish it, to see it. And so you died to a lot of things. There's a mandate. I have a mandate about seeing our children educated. Specifically, right now I have the opportunity to serve in the Laurel School District. It's a mandate on us for that. So we put up with all the other voices out there that are saying their stuff, posted on Facebook, and I get upset that my wife has to see some ugly things posted about me from people who don't even know me and people that I don't even care what the heck they think about me.
Right.
I don't give one. Pastor James said it. Don't give a rip about it.
Yep.
Because why? At the decision-making table, I'm there. When you're sitting your behind at home, I'm at the decision-making table because the Lord opened up an opportunity for me to be there. And you cannot be bitter about who's out there saying something. You got to be focused in on getting the best information you can to make the best the best decision for these students, for these kids who you're at the table for them. You got to get it together for that. You can't be worried trying to look in the rear view mirror trying to lead and drive forward.
Nope.
You got to see up in the rear view. You make sure they're a safe distance, don't rear end you. You keep going forward.
Yeah.
And so it takes a lot of that. It takes, but I guess I need to know who's for us and who's not.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody else under any other false pretenses. It scares the dog out of me to think you built something and the Lord builds a house. Scripture says, unless the Lord builds a house, you labor in vain. So maybe the better way to say it is you labor at something for 10 years and then you find out it isn't what you thought it was. You labored at building relationships for 10 years and you find out they aren't what you thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
That scares me.
Mm-hmm.
But what scares me more is a false peace and false relationships where we can't even disagree and overcome that because we don't have any sort of depth of relationship.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe Sunday was about going, I don't want to be afraid no more.
I think it was, like you just said, I think it was going deeper.
Yeah. I guess I want everybody to understand, like, whatever you think it took to get here, it's going to take more than that to get past here and move forward. And we're not retreating. We're not going backwards, not taking one stinking step backwards. I've been looking for an opportunity since COVID started. I'm upset because when our schools had to shut down, there are children in our communities, not just in Laurel, but in Jones County as well, that don't eat if the schools are not going.
Open. Yeah. And
so what I was upset about, even though there are other churches that have kitchens or whatever, I'm upset because I felt like as one of the leaders of Agape Church, we have facilities and we didn't have a facility that had a kitchen in it. I thought, I don't want to be left like that again. So been looking for the deal of a lifetime so we can acquire property, so we can put a kitchen in so that meals come up. So whether it's COVID or the next name storm or whatever else, if people need food, The people in our body that are gifted at my job is not to cook the food. My job is to make sure that the people that are called to cook the food have a place to cook the food.
Yeah.
Like that's the
awesome.
Thing. So day one from coach, I know we're watching everything economic. We did. We're very, very smart. We have a balanced way of how we do things. But I made sure I told our board, I was like, I'm looking for an opportunity. I'm looking for a God opportunity. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
We're going to look for God opportunities. And if everybody wants to lead by fear, I'm not that one. So we're going to have to figure it out. And still want us to be able to be in a position where we can pastor a city. We say that at Agape. We do not pastor a church. We pastor a city.
Yeah.
And so we pastor a community. We want to be in a position to do that. And so Sunday's message was really just about, hey, we just got to call it like what it is. And I'm very fortunate. You know, there's 70,000 people in Jones County, Mississippi. There's 200 of my brothers and sisters that are white that get to say, I got a black pastor.
I do.
You know, and so I don't take that for granted. I am moved by it. I am so grateful for it. It's the miracle that that we get to live in, and that I get to live, is to be able to come to the South, where some people literally in our country are actually literally like afraid to even, like, you know, because they have preconceived notions.
They really are. Yeah.
But to be here and see that the same Jesus that lives in their community is the same Jesus that lives in ours. Yeah. And the same Jesus that's doing miracles in their community is the same Jesus doing miracles here. And the same Jesus that's building great things where you live is the same Jesus that's going to build great things right here, and is building great things and has already built great things right here in Jones County, Mississippi.
Using great people.
And using great people.
There
and he's going to use great people here. And so, and to see that, you know, but also to see the real works of what happens when the church unites, when it takes its rightful place. We saw some amazing things while, you know, in some views that the president's election is still in dispute or up or whatever that is in people's minds. The things that we saw in Mississippi have been amazing that people did not understand. No matter how people felt about the flag, why I was encouraged about it is because it took the church that stepped up and turned the tide. It was our Southern Baptist Association here in Mississippi, the Mississippi Southern Baptist Association, that stood up and said, this needs to be a point of healing. I'm so grateful. I've not gotten a chance to meet them in person or their leadership to tell them in person, but I hope somebody will let them know. James Hill, the Agape Church, says, thank you for standing up, for saying, let's get this thing right. Not because like our economies depend on it, but because let's honor our Father by doing it. Let's reconcile. Let's get this thing reconciled. And then the Southern Baptist Association came after that. The church did that. Mm-hmm. That wasn't Walmart. That wasn't anybody else. The Church of Jesus Christ said, we want this changed, and things changed. It was amazing. We repealed, we're now the electoral to be able to, our elections are very clear. That's a big deal here, where 50% plus one, if not, it's a runoff, and that's it. Where people didn't understand that in Mississippi, you had to win the popular vote and in the legislature. Right. And so big major moves. And I'm not going to credit those to that's just humans and we flipped the coin. Moves of God, I'm grateful to God for it. And so you see there's momentum, and I believe God's going to continue to work, but clearly the church has got to take its rightful place. And that's really what it was about. It was just wanting to have an honored conversation, wanting to, I guess, maybe see who still believed in what we're doing and who doesn't. And also to see, hey, because as we get closer, we can't continue to stay home. Mm-hmm. We're going to serve you, whether you're in person or whether you're worshiping at home. We're going one day we're going to be where it is safe for us to gather in large crowds again. And we want to know who's going to be there.
Yeah.
And so I figure rather than wait, let's get busy building now, because it's going to take all of us, and it really is going to take all of us to do this.
Yeah.
So anyway, rambled way too long. Sorry about that, but I just
no apologies. The good thing is this is recorded.
Well, I appreciate it, and I felt like, in worship, like there was a change, there was a shift. I second service I did actually I preached the message I prepared on I Am again, but I felt like for that reason that was and in my head as I'm kind of racking my brain, I was thinking, Lord, I can't preach that twice. Like, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can even. I'm not sure if I'm ready. Like, I just was kind of racking. I just knew it was kind of one of those moments where it's a moment where you surrender, where you just say, and because my preparedness, I believe you need to be prepared. I spend a lot of time preparing for a Sunday morning. Not like a wake up in the morning, burp, and come up with a message. I really want to prepare. It's very secure for me. And yet I know when the Holy Spirit is leading in a different direction, and you have to be obedient to that. And I talked to us about being that as a congregation. I have to do that as a pastor, and everything that's spontaneous is not always the Holy Spirit. I get that, but I also know when it is.
Oh yeah.
And I want to respond and be obedient and go, okay, Lord, well, you're the teacher anyway.
That's
so let me just let you do what you do.
This ain't us.
So, yeah.
This is your service.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Every single Sunday.
Yeah, well, it was good Sunday, and I think it's important, again, as we heard tonight. And there are some things I think we'll probably table this discussion.
Yeah.
Probably, and discuss more. Just some things that we can talk about and ask each other next week.
Yeah.
That we didn't get a chance to get into, but. Hey, I mean, again, this, we got this now. It'll be probably out audible form on all the podcasting platforms soon this week, and then up on YouTube as well. So you guys, please go out and listen to this, and just keep everything that was mentioned in mind and in heart. So I think that'll be great, man. Yeah,
appreciate it. Goodness.
Absolutely.
And you do an amazing job with y'all don't get to see the technical parts that happen behind this, but Brad,
we try. That's what you'd say, right?
Really make sure that it's quality. So you're doing a great job, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank all of y'all for joining us tonight and hanging in there with us. We appreciate that very much. We will see you next Monday night live at 6 p.m.
See ya.
Take care.